Hello everyone, welcome back for part 4. So let's get started on reading the kids' Bible. Some wise men followed a special star in the sky. It led them to the house where the little boy Jesus lived. The wise men gave gifts to Jesus. They got down on their knees to worship him. They knew he was going to be a great king. You can give Jesus a gift too. Tell him you love him. For the parents who are watching this, ask your kids one of the questions in the book. An angel told Joseph that Jesus wasn't safe in Bethlehem. Egypt was a safe place for Jesus, so Joseph, Mary, and Jesus left for Egypt while it was still dark. Joseph was glad that he could take good care of God's son. Who takes care of you? God sent an angel to Joseph. The angel told him it was safe to take Jesus home. Joseph took his family out of Egypt. They went to live in the town of Nazareth. Jesus became a strong and wise boy. He loved his parents and they loved him. Ask God to help you grow strong and wise. Jesus went to the temple with his family when he was 12. The teachers were surprised at how much Jesus knew about God. They didn't know that Jesus was God's son. No wonder he knew so much about God. Where can he learn more about God? John the Baptizer was Jesus' cousin. When Jesus grew up, he asked John to baptize him in the Jordan River. Then the Holy Spirit came down from heaven as a beautiful dove, and God said to Jesus, "You are my dear son. I am very pleased with you." What did God tell Jesus? A man named Nicodemus came to talk to Jesus one night. Jesus told Nicodemus that God loved everyone so much that he even sent his son to die for us. Now everyone who believes in Jesus, God's son, can go to heaven someday. How did God show his love for us? Jesus chose 12 men to be his disciples. They went with him everywhere. They saw him do many miracles, like making blind people see. He taught them about God and he told them about heaven where he lived before he came to earth. He was their friend. You can be Jesus' friend too. Would you like to be Jesus' friend? Jesus was tired and thirsty from a long walk, so he asked the woman for some water. He told her that he could give her the kind of joy that lasts forever. He told her that God sent him. The woman believed this and told everyone about Jesus. Do you love Jesus? Then your joy will last forever too. Jesus got into a boat with some fishermen. They had been fishing all night without catching anything. Jesus told them to try again. The men listened to Jesus and they caught more fish than their nets could hold. The fishermen were very surprised. They decided to follow Jesus. Why did the fishermen follow Jesus? Jesus was teaching a large crowd. 4 men wanted Jesus to help a friend who couldn't walk, so they lowered him through the roof. They set him down in front of Jesus. First, Jesus forgave the man's sins. Then he told the man to get up and walk, and he did. Everyone thanked God. What did Jesus do for the man who couldn't walk? Another man had been sick for a long time. Jesus asked him if he would like to get well. The man said yes, so Jesus told him, "Stand up and walk." Suddenly, the man was able to get up and walk. How did the man get well? One day, Jesus sat down on the side of a mountain. A large crowd of people came to hear him talk about God. He taught them how to love God and live for him. Jesus said this was the way to have a happy life. How can you have a happy life? A Roman soldier asked Jesus to heal his servant who was very sick. Jesus said he would come to the soldier's house, but the soldier believed that Jesus could stay where he was and just say, "Be healed." So Jesus did, and the servant got well. As soon as Jesus said this, what did the soldier believe Jesus could do? The father of a very sick little girl begged Jesus to make his daughter well again. On the way to her house, Jesus heard that the little girl had died. Jesus went to her house anyway. He said, "Get up, my child." The little girl stood up. She was alive and well again. What did Jesus do for a little girl who died? This man was blind. He couldn't see anything. His friends brought him to Jesus. They asked Jesus to touch the man and heal him. Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Suddenly he could see everything clearly. What did the blind man's friends do for him? Look at the big waves. The disciples' small boat was about to sink. Jesus was quietly sleeping in the boat. "Wake up," his disciples yelled. They were afraid. Jesus got up and told the storm to stop. Then the waves became calm and quiet. Jesus could do wonderful things like that. What did Jesus tell the storm to do? Did you ever try to walk on water? Of course not, but Jesus did. One night, the disciples were crossing the lake in their boat. Suddenly, they saw Jesus walking toward them on the water. They screamed in terror, but Jesus told them who it was. He told them not to be afraid. Why were the disciples afraid? Jesus took Peter, James, and John to the top of a high hill. Suddenly, Jesus' face began to shine, and his clothes became as white as snow. Then they saw Jesus talking to Moses and Elijah, who lived long ago. And a voice from a bright cloud said, "Jesus is my much-loved Son. Listen to him." What did the voice from heaven say? A big crowd of people followed Jesus when they got hungry, and there were no stores to buy food. A boy gave his lunch of 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish to Jesus. Then Jesus made the bread and fish become thousands of pieces. Everybody had enough to eat. There were even leftovers. The boy gave his lunch to Jesus. Can you think of something you can give to Jesus? A woman whose husband had died had only 2 pennies. Instead of buying something to eat, she put them in the church collection box. She did this because she loved God. Jesus said she gave more than the rich man who put in many dollars. She put in all she had, but the rich man gave God only a tiny part of their money. What can you give God to show him you love him? Some mothers brought their little children to Jesus. They wanted him to touch and bless them. Jesus' disciples told the mothers not to bother Jesus. But Jesus loved children. He called them to come to him. Jesus said children can believe in him and love him even when they are little. Do you love Jesus? This man was hurt by men who stole his money. They left him in the ditch half dead. A man he didn't like saw him there. This man put bandages on his cuts. Then he put the man on his donkey and took him to town. He took care of him. We call the man who helps him the Good Samaritan. How can he help someone and be a Good Samaritan? Jesus liked to visit 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. Martha worked hard in the kitchen, making dinner for Jesus. Mary just wanted to talk to him and learn more about God. Martha scolded Mary for not helping her. But Jesus said Mary was doing the right thing by listening to him. We listen to Jesus when we read the Bible. How can you listen to Jesus? A shepherd takes good care of his sheep night and day. Jesus said we are his sheep, and he cares for us all the time. He is the good shepherd who knows the names of all his sheep. You are a little lamb, and Jesus knows your name. Why is Jesus a good shepherd? Mary and Martha had a brother named Lazarus. Lazarus got sick and died. His sister knew that Jesus could have healed him, and now it was too late. Lazarus was dead. But Jesus went to Lazarus' grave and called Lazarus, "Come out," and Lazarus came out of the grave alive again. How did Jesus help Lazarus? 10 men with bad swords asked Jesus to make them well. Jesus told them to go and show their pastor that the swords had gone away. As they went, they suddenly got well again, but only one man came back to thank Jesus. Jesus wondered why the other man didn't thank him. What can you thank Jesus for today? A man had 2 sons. The younger son asked his father for a lot of money. Then the son moved far away. He did bad things. Soon he ran out of money. He went home to tell his father, "I was wrong." His father was waiting for him and ran to him. He gave his son a big hug. How did the father show his son that he still loved him? People didn't like Zacchaeus. He cheated them out of their money, but Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus. He was too short to see over the crowd, so he climbed a tree. When Jesus walked by, he looked up and told Zacchaeus, "I'm coming to your house." After Zacchaeus met Jesus, he stopped cheating people. What did Jesus tell Zacchaeus? One day, Jesus rode a donkey into Jerusalem. Children sang about how wonderful Jesus was. Many people waved palm branches. They thanked God for Jesus. They wanted Jesus to be their new king. Tell God how wonderful Jesus is. One night during supper, Jesus told his disciples it was the last meal he would eat with them on earth. He knew soldiers would take him away that night and they would kill him. Jesus died for you and me so that God can forgive us for the bad things we do. Why was this the last meal Jesus would eat on earth with his disciples? After supper, Jesus took his disciples to the garden to pray. Jesus felt very sad. He knew the soldiers were coming soon. He knelt down and prayed for God to help him. His disciples were no help. They all fell asleep, but God sent an angel to make Jesus strong and brave. Why did God send an angel to Jesus? Judas was one of Jesus' disciples, but he only pretended to love Jesus. Some leaders gave Judas money to tell them where to find Jesus. Judas led some soldiers to arrest Jesus. The other disciples were afraid. They didn't help Jesus. They ran away. Why didn't the disciples help Jesus? Peter was one of Jesus' disciples. He was afraid of the soldiers who took Jesus away, so he told 3 people, "I don't know Jesus." Later, Peter was sorry he lied. Jesus forgave him. After that, Peter wanted to tell everyone about Jesus. How did Peter feel after he lied? What did Jesus do then? The soldiers took Jesus to a judge named Pilate. Pilate decided Jesus hadn't done anything wrong. He wanted to let him go, but the people kept yelling, "Kill him, kill him." They shouted louder and louder till Pilate said the soldiers could do this terrible thing. Why did the Pilate let Jesus go? The soldiers nailed Jesus to a cross made of wood. They put 2 bad men on crosses next to him. One of the bad men was sorry for his sins. He asked Jesus to forgive him. Jesus said yes, he would do that. Jesus forgives everyone who asks him to. He will forgive you. What must we do if we want Jesus to forgive us? After Jesus was dead, some friends put his body in a cave. A big stone was put in front of the cave so no one could go in or out. But early on Sunday morning, Jesus came back to life and came out of the grave. He was alive again. Did Jesus stay in the cave? Jesus could hardly believe that he was alive again, so he showed them the nail marks in his hands and feet. One day he rose up into the sky and disappeared in a cloud. He went back to his Father in heaven. Someday he will come back to earth again. Where did Jesus go? Alright guys, this will be the end of part 4. Come back for the final part.